Around 14 million Angolans have been casting their ballots in presidential and parliamentary elections. 8 candidates from 7 different political parties are vying for the top post. It's expected to be a relatively tight race. The incumbent President Joao Lourenco from the ruling MPLA wants a second term in office. He'll face his main opponent, Adalberto Costa Junior. The leader of the country's main opposition party, UNITA, is the country's 5th election since independence. Well, let's speak now to Borges Nhamirre, and a senior research consultant at the ISS, the Institute for Security Studies. Borges, good afternoon to you. At this stage, are we expecting a peaceful election? I suppose what I'm really asking is, will people accept the outcome when it comes in?
Good afternoon, thank you. I think so far the election has been peaceful. The electoral campaign as well was so peaceful compared to the previous one. But when it comes to the results, we'll have to wait to see, depending on what results are we having and how the counting results, the tally of results is going to take place. Shall we see, if we see problems with the police chasing people from the polling station, seeing the police trying to interfere in the results count, maybe we can see a kind of violence. Also, if there are big evidence of fraud, which is expected somehow, we might see a post-electoral violence. I do expect it is going to be of a high proportions, like something like in 1992, that we had a post-electoral civil war, but at least I expect that we can see some unrest in the many urban areas, mainly Luanda.
How independent are the electoral authorities, the people who conduct the election? Do voters see them as independent?
No, they're not. They're not independent. So when we're talking about electoral authorities, basically we're talking about the National Electoral Commission, which is running all the processes. So this entity is not independent. Unfortunately, people don't trust it. Actually, the chairman of the Electoral Commission is contested by civil society, by opposition. He is someone who has been playing the same role. So he is former president of the Electoral Commission in Luanda, and then he moved from Luanda to the National Commission. So people don't trust him. Actually, there's a case in court that has been placed against him, saying he's not independent. So unfortunately, the electoral bodies are not independent, but also they are not conducting the process, with fairness. For example, they have limited the independent observers to only 2,000, while we have more than 25,000 polling stations in Angola. So people don't trust in electoral bodies, unfortunately.
As I understand it, I didn't know this, but I read today that opinion polls asking people who are you going to vote for is actually illegal in Angola. Is that true?
No. Somehow, let me explain it. Until 2 months ago, it was legal, but then the parliament passed a new law which prohibits polls on the election unless get authorization from the court. So what is happening is that people are conducting polls from social networks, which is not legal, but they're doing it. But what we can say is that those polls are not reliable, are not credible at all. We cannot trust in them in terms of methodology that they use.
What are the main election issues? I mean, we see here the cost of living in South Africa is a big political issue here. In Angola, government has not followed policies that have created jobs. It's a very unequal country. There are a lot of people who have not been able to improve how they live.
Independent, the police and the army won't interfere in the election. The media is impartial. Then we could say UNITA has a real chance. But in this context of the manipulation of the situation, playing field very uneven, it's very difficult to see UNITA winning the election.
Borges Nhamirre, thank you very much indeed. A senior research consultant at the Institute for Security Studies. Do appreciate that time. More updates, of course, on the Angolan elections as we go. Well,